appointed a director of the DSS in the church, and the director told us something. He said, we are going to the land of no return. Then
the senior pastor came around. After dishing us some slaps, he called the GO. The GO said it on speaker that we should be demoralized and we should be handed over to the DSS. Then the DSS came in numbers of 2 hillocks and 6 bikes. They took us down to the DSS facility. They stripped us naked, removing our trousers and collecting most of our belongings. They took us to a dungeon called a cell, where we literally sleep on the floor. There was a pit toilet in this facility, a pit toilet where close to where we sleep. There was no demarcation from the toilet and where we sleep. It's just an open space. You can even, as you are eating, somebody be defecating and you'll be looking at the person. That is almost disgusting. So we've been there for the next day. They called us, they tortured us, asking us who gave us the shirt. And I was like, I printed this shirt myself. I printed 6, and I'm the one that gave it to them. And we are wearing this as our prayer point to express our grievances over the hardship of the government, because the Boko Haram are terrorizing us, insecurity, unknown government, and other forms of high manner of insecurity and injustice that we are having in the country. On getting to the DSS for 7 days, we refused eating. Never wanted to eat, so we wanted to see our lawyers. For good 7 days, we were under torture, at least 3 times in a day or twice in a day. They tried to come and emotionally torture us. Then twice in a week, they beat us up. 2 to 3 times in a week, they beat us up, forcing us to accept that we came to the church to terrorize the church. We were like, we are on our way going back home. Nothing they didn't do to us. And they're telling us that they want to use us as an example for fellow Nigerians and other youth that thinks they can say what they want to say. Even in DSS facilities, most of the DSS workers said they know that the government have failed, that they know that what the government is doing is not fair, but they are receiving a presidency order that they cannot do what they are not being told to do. So after every torture and everything that they do to us, I lost my tooth in the DSS facility. I was not given any medical attention. When I was telling them I lost my tooth, they were telling me that I should do whatsoever I want to do. So I want to tell fellow Nigerians that many people lurking around innocently in the DSS facilities, most of them were kidnapped. Some of them, they said they were kidnapped around 1 o'clock midnight, some 2 o'clock midnight. Some of them have been there for 6 months, 5 months. Imagine after all the torture and everything, even most people in the cell were like, they were not treating us properly fine. It got to the notice that our senior comrade Mazinam Mikano, also complained, telling the DSS they shouldn't demoralize us. Mazinam Mikano told the DSS that what they are doing, it is not good, and they should try not to be as tyrant as the president. But most of them laughed at him. Most of them make jest of him. They have to transfer us from there because they felt we were talking to him and we were giving a high spirit there. So they moved us from that new Echo to old Echo and put us in the midst of Boko Haram. You can imagine the kind of soup they give us in DSS facility. A black soup that smells like an engine oil. It has a black dots inside. Their okra soup is more or less that you can count the okra inside. It's enough water. They don't cook with salt, they don't cook with pepper, and the toilet is something else. No dolls on the toilet. It's stuffy. No health care. I know about 15 people in the facility that are very sick. Somebody committed suicide in the DSS facility when I was there, because the guy was literally complaining that he's sick. Nobody's there to attend to him. All of a sudden, the guy gave up and he committed suicide and killed himself. One of the comrades in my cell, they wanted to cut off his hand just because of a minor injury. Just because we stood up in the cell again, to protest, to fight against it, that it will happen. They treated him and made him okay. I'm talking to my fellow Nigerians. Even when we're in there, we're telling everybody and we're letting them to understand that Buhari must go. It's not all about Buhari should go. It's all about bringing a total end to insecurity. It's all about pushing all those old cargoes. Let us come as youths. Let's gang up. If these men can gang up to steal from, if these men can gang up to steal from us, then let's gang up to push them out, so that our country will be a place where everyone will have equal rights as an egalitarian. Our country should be a place that will have no fear. That's why we need as much youth as possible to understand that Buhari must go. Nobody is hating on Buhari. Nobody have any grudge against Buhari. But because Buhari has failed to do what he's supposed to do, and he has chosen himself to be a tyrant, and he has chosen himself to be an oppressor in the society, that is why people like us will soon rise up against him.